Can too much soot damage the DPF permanently, even after it's been cleaned? Oh, let me position my chair here. Realistically, no, not by itself. The entire job is to trap soot. And just because it's full doesn't mean it's ruined. But what happens after it's full is where the trouble starts. A lot of drivers or shops will panic and start running forced regens, one after another, sometimes back to back using a scan tool or a laptop. And what happens is that kind of regen abuse can push internal temperatures through the roof. With enough heat and pressure and generally abuse, the ceramic filter substrate in the DPF can crack, melt, or collapse entirely. Not only the DPF, if too frequent regens, one on top of another, and if the truck doesn't stop you, you can damage not just the DPF, but also the DOC and the SCR. I've seen it. And once that happens, no cleaning will fix it. The soot might be gone, probably not. But guess what? The DPF is wrecked, and you're looking at a replacement. At DPF Guys, which is here, which is us, we only fail about 2 to 3% of the DPFs we see, and that's because they're cracked, melted, or otherwise damaged in some way that makes them unsafe or just unusable because they're no longer any good. And here's the thing, if we clean your DPF and find that it's unusable, usually we can tell right away just by looking at it during the testing process. But once in a while, one slips past the goalie. If we find that your DPF can't be cleaned, there's no charge. You're not getting billed for a bad filter, period. However, unfortunately, many shops will say your DPF is too dirty to clean and try to sell you a made up, maybe you need a stage 2 or stage 3 cleaning for a lot more money, and then turn around and say you need to buy a new filter anyway. And that's just not how we do business. I don't like adding insult to injury. People are not fond of their DPF systems to start with, so I don't want to make it any worse than it needs to be. One more thing. If you do have massive soot buildup and you haven't gotten your filters cleaned, all of that soot can back up a little further, a little further, a little further till it works its way into the rest of your system. And this can clog up your DOC, which isn't that big of a deal. That can be cleaned as well. But if it starts to work its way back up into the turbo and even cause issues upstream if it starts pushing up into the EGR loop as well, you definitely don't want a huge amount of soot to build up in the turbo. That can cause issues. And also that turbo is spinning about 30,000 RPMs. It's like a little jet engine. And if a chunk of soot gets in there, it's like getting hit with a bullet. It can then damage the vanes of the turbo, destroying the turbo. So while the soot itself does not destroy the DPF, everything that happens when it's ignored or mishandled can really damage things. The bottom line, a full DPF isn't a bad DPF, but a cracked, melted, or abused from a DPF that's abused from too many regens, that's when you get yourself into trouble. So if you got yourself into a sooty situation, call us before it becomes a bigger one. And how do you call us? Well, looky here. Call or text anytime, day or night, 404-999-1361. All right, question number 2.